Started, man. What's going on, everybody? How you doing today? Welcome back to another episode of Sports Talk with Chavez. I'm gonna wait for a few more people to get in here, maybe. And just wait a couple minutes for that, see if anyone comes in. No, just YouTube. How's it going, guys? Who's in here? Go ahead and get into this. Thanks for coming back to another episode of Sports Talk with Chavez, guys. And today we're going to kind of talk about everything that's been going on and going to talk about some things that are coming up in the next month or so. So today, actually, the Patriots are in the news for two different things. Surprisingly, they signed Cam Newton, which I kind of didn't see this coming this late in the offseason, but I mean, at the same time, it's not that surprising that Bill Belichick would bring in Cam Newton. I myself am not huge on Cam. I think he had one good season, really, and I don't think he should have had MVP that year, honestly. I thought Russell Wilson had a better year overall, but that's just my opinion. Yeah, and then they're in the news again for recording somebody else's sideline. They got docked a third-round pick, and I want to say it was like a $1.5 million fine. My question, though, is how many times are we going to just let the Patriots do things like this? It seems like it's all the time. I don't understand why it's not harsher punishments. Like, yeah, a third-round pick is nothing to scoff at, but I feel like they have been caught cheating so many times at this point that something worse should happen. Maybe suspend Bill Belichick or whoever made them do the filming, whoever told them to do it, suspend that person for a full season. At this point, I mean, it's kind of repetitive behavior on their part, so just don't see how Robert Kraft's team gets away with so much. It seems like a lot. More than people care to talk about, too. Oh, yeah, that's not a big deal. Patriots fans just kind of blow it off. Okay. So, let's see. What else can we talk about tonight, guys? I don't know if any of you guys follow UFC at all, but I watched that fight, the main card fight last night between Poirier and and Hooker. Yeah, Poirier and Hooker. I thought Hooker was doing pretty good to start that fight. Brendan says, I don't like losing a pick, to be honest, because that's someone's dream down the drain. Maybe not because of the picks given later in the draft, but it changes a player's life and not just an organization. Absolutely right. But at the same time, if the guy is a third-round talent, you got to figure he's going to get taken at some point anyways. I completely understand the point later on in the draft that definitely affects another guy possibly getting on that roster. But they have undrafted free agents and everything like that for a reason. so that way players can, like Philip Lindsay a couple years ago. I mean, and there's numerous examples across the league of undrafted free agents getting signed to a team and proven that they should be there. So I don't think it's I, I don't think it hurts the organization, to be honest, as much as suspending like a Bill Belichick for multiple games or a season. Like I said before, at this point, they've been caught cheating so many times. I just don't see how you don't come down with a harsher punishment than just a $1.5 million fine. Isn't that much either to these billionaires? I just don't get it. But back to that UFC fight that I was talking about. I know you watch UFC sometimes, Brendan. I don't know if you watched that last night or not. That was a pretty good fight. They were brawling it out, man. I was kind of excited. It made me want to watch UFC because I'm really not that much of a fan so far, to be honest with you. But they were beating the hell out of each other. I don't know who else did watch it, but those guys put on a really good show. I mean, and then, of course, for Poirier to pull it out in the decision, I thought that was going to be the case after the first couple of rounds. Hooker had him in the first couple of rounds, was getting in good shots, keeping him at a distance. But once Poirier was able to close that distance and they kept trading blows, you could tell that Hooker was not meant to go the full 5 rounds. So now that we talked about a little bit with the NFL, well, the Patriots and the UFC, the MLB looks like they're getting ready to return to training camp on, well, their summer spring training starts on the 1st, which is Monday. No, it's not Monday. But they are starting on the 1st. That's this week, Wednesday. So be on the lookout for that. They are expecting a good amount of COVID-19 numbers to come in when they start opening that up. As for any sport, right now you see it going on across the country again. Hopefully they can minimize that damage and keep it to a low amount of people because it's inevitable that it's going to happen. The thing that the MLB was part of the reason they were struggling to get people back was because they don't have a large-scale plan set in place if they were to have a large-scale breakout. They have it set up for individuals if they test positive or anything like that. They have things in place for singular people. But as far as if it was to become like a whole team-wide or multiple team infection of the virus, then the commissioner there of the MLB, what's his name? Oh, man. I'm drawing a blank right now for some reason. Anyways, so he has total control over whether or not their season will continue or not. They have it put in the language specifically in their 101-page memo that here we go. The quote is, if the number of players who are unavailable to perform services due to COVID-19 is so great that the competitive integrity of the season is undermined, meaning that, oh my Lord, this is from Jeff Passan. He reported this and stated that the commissioner can shut it down if there becomes too many players and staff infected with the virus. Sheesh. There have been players from multiple sports that are saying that they don't want to play in these seasons that are about to happen, meaning like the NHL, MLB, and NBA. There haven't been confirmed. There haven't been confirmed people saying this other than a few NBA players so far, like Trevor Ariza, Davis Bertans, Avery Bradley, Willie Cauley, and DeMarcus Cousins, who is a free agent, and there is conflicting reports on whether or not he would play, because there are other reports saying that he wouldn't play, and some reports saying that he is looking to join a team. So something to keep an eye on if you are following the NBA. And then there's the NHL draft lottery that happened the other day, which was very confusing. I don't know how many of you follow the NHL either, but the way that the lottery ended up breaking down was kind of it's rubbed a lot of NHL fans the wrong way. So potentially one of the top teams in the league could lose in this first qualifying round and end up with the top number one pick in the draft, which is kind of weird. I don't know why they would do that. I'm just now really following the NHL news as far as that stuff is concerned. So still learning about it. But the draft order ended up being the LA Kings have the number 2 pick. Ottawa Senators have the number 3 pick from the San Jose Sharks. Detroit Red Wings have the number 4. Ottawa again at number 5. The Anaheim Ducks coming in at number 6. The New Jersey Devils got the 7th pick, and Buffalo Sabres with the 8th pick in the draft coming up. 4 through 8 were determined by inverse regular season points percentage, and 9 through 15 are going to be the 8 losing qualifiers inverse order of points percentage as well. And then 16 through 31 is going to be determined via the playoffs. But the drawing for the number 1 pick is to be held before the Stanley Cup. They don't have a set date for that yet. So keep on the lookout for that. I will be keeping up with that myself as well. How's everyone doing tonight, though? Let's see a few of you guys are here. Not too many. Oh, Manfred. That's the MLB commissioner's name. Jeez, so back to that. They had it specifically in this 101-page memo where Manfred has the control to cancel the season at any point. Like I said before, if the numbers get too high, he's the one that has control of that. They've had that in the language. They had that in their language of the contracts that they negotiated in March. So not really a big change there. The way that that 101-page packet breaks down a little bit with the individual structure in place, players having to have 2 negative tests if they test positive at one point. They have to, in order to come back, they have to have 2 negative tests. no fever for 72 hours, and a committee consisting of 2 doctors and 1 non-medical rep from the MLB and MLBPA. Those doctors and that 1 non-medical personnel need to deem that person not posing a risk of spreading the infection. So they do have contract tracing in place for this as well. Tracers need negative COVID tests and a 10-day temperature check and can't return unless they are asymptomatic. That's all the stuff that I was able to find out today myself. So they do have a decent plan set in place for like individual tests, but I just don't like the fact that they might have too much control in one person's hands. A guy that has seemed a little bit inept when he does his interviews and everything. What's going on though? Well, that's going to be all for today then, guys. Thank you very much for stopping by. If you guys haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you turn on your notifications. If you want to go, any and all support is very much appreciated. If you want to go above and beyond to help out the channel, there is a Patreon link that I will be putting in the description. Any and all contributions from that go directly back into the channel. Thanks again, guys, for stopping by. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. All those links will be in the description below as well. Thanks a lot, guys, again. Have a great day. Peace and love.